It's 6 o'clock.
If anyone would like to speak, there are sign-in sheets at the back of the room. Please stand up if you'd like to speak.
Print to the library. Let's print to the library.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Spalding County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for December 2nd, 2013. It's now 6 o'clock. I have presentations and proclamations. The first presentation is from the Spalding County Parks and Recreation Department. They are to present the 2013 Georgia Recreation and Parks Association District and State Awards, which they recently received. Who will be doing that?
Kelly's going to come up and tell us about all these awards right here on this table.
Good evening. Good evening. We're so appreciative of this opportunity to come before you and present the awards that we've received. We're very proud of the hard work that our staff does in Parks and Recreation. And at this time, I'd like to ask the staff of Parks and Recreation to come forward, as well as volunteer. It's a lot of hard work walking up here. We have on the table here several awards, and I want to share them with you. We are part of the Georgia Recreation and Park Association 4th District. And in our district, we received the Special Event Award for Caregivers Conference. Mr. James Johnston and Joe Ellis, who's here. She's our Senior Center Supervisor. They received that award for a special event. It was a one-day event for caregivers. They came to our beautiful center, and it was a full day of programming and advice and references and great things for people who are providing care for loved ones at home. Secondly, we received the Project of the Year Award for our actual Spalding County Senior Center. We all know the amount of planning that went into this beautiful facility, and we're very proud of having received a special award recognizing those efforts. This project won out of 13 counties representing. The Athletic Professional of the Year, Mr. Robbie Milner, he was selected by his peers in that 4th District for Georgia Recreation and Park Association. We're very proud of his very hard work, taking on a lot of extra work, and does a fantastic job. We also, with those efforts and with the efforts of our Parks Division, received the Athletic Agency of the Year for Class A agencies. And this is because of our hosting of various GRPA tournaments, events, our involvement in GRPA, and improvements made in our athletics program. So we're very proud. It takes the whole team to pull that off. Our Volunteer of the Year Award, Margaret Barnum is here representing Macon Tracks Travel Club. They've been in existence since 1993 when we first walked into the doors of our very first senior center. Started off with maybe 30 members. It now, in our new senior center, has 269 members. We're very proud of that. 275. And growing every day. And then finally, our state award, our senior adult section volunteer award for Skills USA. If that doesn't ring a bell to you, it is a group of college students out of Southern Crescent Technical College, and they have volunteered with our senior games event, one of the largest in the state. I would say more than 20 years. They have volunteered every year at that event, and we're very proud of the hard work that they do. And won't you join me in...
Okay, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How does this work out? Miss Gwen, we're gonna let you hold this fancy. Volunteer of the year, there she is. Mr. Robert, you can hold your own flag.
Now you can finally take it home. Or hang it.
Whoop, you want me to move?
Up there.
Come on, just get up, Shorty, come on. You taking one for Sheila since she's not here? She'll be in 5 minutes and want us to line them back up again.
You'll have to send me yours.
And if y'all leave those here, we're gonna talk about them at staff meeting tomorrow morning as well.
Before everybody walks away, I know Kelly did the talking, but let's just, would you, any of you guys like to make some comments? Since you did such a good job, especially our volunteer of the year.
I know, this lady puts in so many hours.
Well, we just have a good time, and we're trying to get those in Spalding County that can't get to go to other places to use Big Blue, and we use it regularly, and we have a great time volunteering to get other people to go places and do things they couldn't do otherwise. We appreciate Big Blue greatly.
We appreciate you. I would just like to say to everyone that this past year has been a very difficult year for the Park and Rec staff, and I think that it's very amazing that you guys were able to get these awards. You know, we lost our director, and then you know, Robbie's working, basically doing the work of you know, Angie when she left, so. And still to be able to get these awards, I think that's just extraordinary, and we really appreciate you guys, and we just want you to know that. Thanks again. Any other presentations?
No, ma'am, not
So, next, we'll have presentation of the financial statement.
Not at this meeting, ma'am.
Okay.
Next.
At this time, we'll have citizens' comments. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting, and there is a sheet provided in the rear, and provide their names and addresses and topics on which they will speak. Speakers must direct all comments to the board only. Speakers will be allotted 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topics that relate to matters pertinent to the jurisdiction of this Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the commissioners during citizens' comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated, and common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. At this time, I'll ask Mr. Steve Bushrow. Did I say that correctly? Please come to the podium and give us your name and your address, sir.
My name's Steve Bushrow with 1890 Swint Road. Swint Road is just, I guess, repaved. I don't know what you call it, but it's worse now than it's ever been. I don't know if we paid for that, but if we did, we need our money back. That road is atrocious. It's ridiculous. It's shut down for about a week. Delayed traffic everywhere they went. Everywhere you tried to go, you couldn't get in and out of your driveway. And when they got done, I've never seen such a bad job in my life. I did my own driveway. It's 1/4 mile long. It's a lot better than that. Thank you.
Mr. Boudreaux, my name is William Wilson. I'm the county manager.
I know you're-
What we did is, patching, getting ready for resurfacing. The road has not been resurfaced. All we did was patch the worst spots in the road. They're gonna come back with leveling and with an 1.5-inch topping on top of that, so you'll be very satisfied. When the weather picks back up, it's gotta be 50 degrees and rising before they can start paving again, and no rain. So as soon as we get 50 degrees and rising and no rain, they'll be right back out there to pave it. Your road was only one in that section, and we moved to Tomachichi, where the same thing was done, and North McDonough Road, where the patching is done there. Those have all just been patched in preparation for resurfacing.
So you're saying if they just did this, instead of just going in, tearing that road up and redoing it, recycling like they do with normal, we spent extra money to have it done, patched like that?
Yes, sir, we had to do the patching before DOT would allow us to resurface.
It just doesn't make no sense, I'm sorry. It just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, at this time, Mr. Bobby Purifoy, if you'll come forward to the podium, give your name and address, please.
Bobby Purifoy, 917 South McDonald Road. I was looking at the agenda with interest about your item, new business, the Georgia Department of Transportation, final design and replacement of a bridge on Jordan Hill Road. And I was just wondering, especially for the residents and the folks out in the 3rd District, we still have a single lane bridge on South Walker's Mill Road. Bart, are you familiar with it? Have you ever been out there? Chipper, I know you're familiar.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
How dangerous that one lane bridge is. And I like, and Ms. Johnson, I don't know whether you've been out there, have ever traveled that road and seen how dangerous that is. Raymond, I don't know whether you're familiar with it. And Gwen, I don't know whether you've ever been out there. But I challenge those that have never been on that road to go out there and experience just how dangerous it is for school buses and for the residents out there to travel that road. And to have this on Jordan Hill Road, a request to replace it, to me, it seems like the priorities are kind of shifted here. You know how dangerous that thing is, Chipper, for fire trucks, school buses, if you haven't been out there. How about William? Are you familiar with the road?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see if we can get some priority on that road, on that bridge there to be replaced before we go with this one on Jordan Hill Road, which I know is politically motivated. And you do too. That one on South Walker's Mill between 16th and Rehoboth Road, there's not a whole lot of politics pushing it, but it needs to be replaced. It is a clear and present danger to the residents and the school buses traveling that road. Thank you.
Thank you. William, has that bridge been rated by the state?
Yes, ma'am. DOT inspects that bridge every 2 years, just like they do others. That bridge does not have a state contract on it and is not in the priority list that DOT has prepared for replacing of the bridges here in Spalding County, but I'll get you a copy of the bridge report.
Okay. Any other questions for William? All right. At this time, we will go to the minutes of the last meeting. Consider approval of the minutes from the November 18th, 2013 work session, the November 18th, 2013 extraordinary session, the November 18th, 2013 executive session, and the November 25th, 2013 special call meeting.
Madam Chair, move that the minutes identified be approved.
Second. Have a motion by Commissioner Ray and a second by Commissioner Johnson to approve the November 18, 2013 work session meeting minutes, November 18, 2013 extraordinary session minutes, November 18, 2013 executive session minutes, and the November 25, 2013 special call meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. 5-0. There is no consent agenda tonight. So we will go, and actually there's no old business, so we'll go directly to new business. Item 1, consider a request of Harold Lyon of 142 Morris Mill Road for an amplification permit to hold a Christmas party on Saturday, December 14, 2013, from 6 p.m. until 2 a.m. at his home. William, will you address that?
Madam Chairman, the application was filed. Community Development would like for you to note that the time requested is 2 a.m. We also received a report from the Sheriff's Department that loud music calls were received from that location on December 17th, 2011, November 10th, 2012, and November 8th, 2013. But they did request 6 p.m. to 2 o'clock a.m. And I don't know if is Mr. Lyon here? Okay. Not here to answer any questions, ma'am.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
on any of the dates that the Sheriff's Department received calls out there, I assume there were not application permits issued, or, I know for probably 2011, they may not be required in, I don't know.
11 they were not required. I think 12 and 13 they were.
But to your knowledge, we probably had not issued a permit.
I haven't,
Okay.
don't recall.
Madam Chair, we also, if I may, we normally do not, in the past, we don't normally allow amplification permits to go that late in the morning. We normally limit it to 11 p.m., no later than 12, if I recall correctly.
Is the 14th on a Friday, Saturday?
It's on Saturday.
Saturday.
I would like to know, William, what were the final dispositions when the Sheriff's Department was called out for a noise complaint on those occasions?
The only thing I have from Lieutenant Littlejohn is our records indicate, found the following loud music calls. These are the only calls to the resident that pertain to loud music. Sheriff, I don't, from this, I would say no citations were issued. And generally,
Probably not. They usually contact people, and if they turn the music down, then they can close.
but it does not indicate that any citations were issued.
So what's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, move to disapprove the request by Harold Lyons, 142 Morris Mill Road, for an amplification permit to hold a Christmas party on Saturday, December 14th, from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. at his home.
I'll second it for discussion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Ray and a second by Commissioner Gardner to disapprove the request by Mr. Harold Lyons at 142 Morris Mill Road for an application permit on hold a Christmas party on Saturday, December 14th, 2013, from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to look at maybe the idea of having it 11 p.m. As we have the others.
Thought it was 12.
Or 12, whatever it is on the record, rather than just say not do it, maybe just do like we have been doing in the past. Since
If I could, all the, our form just says that the applicant certifies that he has contacted the adjacent property owner, but he's not required to provide us any kind of proof that he contacted us.
That's correct. I think they do sign an affidavit, sign the application, I guess, which states that they have.
Okay. residential area, a lot of houses real close together.
Yeah, and I have a concern about that too. I mean, I don't know this gentleman, but he's not here to speak for his own request. And then he has had some issues in the past just with noise complaints. So I'm a little bit reluctant, to even, approve it. Because, I mean, I don't know, only thing I know is what the sheriff has said. And if you're living in a residential area and you have lots of residents around there, how do we know that it's not gonna be the same thing? So
I don't know, I just think that, if you're a homeowner, and I don't know the logistics of what happened in the past, but I think that it's your right, if you wanna have a party, as long as it's catered to a certain time. Like I said, 11 p.m., 12 o'clock is more than enough time. Anything in the wee hours in the morning needs to be shut down. But as a homeowner, that's one of the benefits you have.
no, not to say that they can't have a party. We're saying he's requesting that he have amplification outside. That means that everybody within I don't know how densely populated it is, but within half-mile radius maybe.
Pretty
quarter mile,
populated.
will hear that. So that's my concern. It's not just them having a private party within their residence. It's us giving them permission to amplify their music or their announcements or whatever. So,
We cut it off on no later than 11 o'clock. 10 o'clock, maybe because it's a residential area.
is there any other discussion? We got a motion and a second on the floor. No other discussion? I'll call for the question. And I'm sure you're not willing to rescind your motion, right? Okay. All those in favor of not approving the request by Mr. Harold Lyon, 142 Morris Mill Road for amplification permit to hold a Christmas party on Saturday, December 14, 2013, from 6 to 2 p.m. Have a show of hands. 2. Those opposed? 3. Okay. Can we take any other action on this?
Madam
Yeah.
Chair, I
Well,
make
the
a
motion
motion that
failed,
we.
so it's still basically
Yeah,
sitting on
still
your.
sitting
Yeah.
on the agenda.
Rick, you go ahead. Madam Chair, I make a motion that we grant the application's request except at the cutoff time at 10 p.m.
I second that.
Have a motion by Commissioner Gardner and a second by Commissioner Johnson to approve the request for Mr. Harold Lyon, 142 Morris Mill Road, for an amplification permit to hold a Christmas party on Saturday, December 14, 2013, from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. at his home. Is there any discussion? I just want to say one thing. I'm not good with the part of the amplification permit that says, I certify, I talk to my neighbors. Because I just don't know that happens. So, that's all I got to say. Any other discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor? Show of hands. 3. Those opposed? 2. Okay. Next item on the agenda, item 2, consider a request from Griffin Spalding Athletic Hall of Fame to relocate their display to 841 Memorial Drive, adjacent to the Park and Rec Administrative Offices.
Madam Chairman, we have representatives from the Hall of Fame here who would, who's your president? That would be Dan. Come on up and tell the board what you want. Lead your case.
How are y'all? Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we've come to the board for this request. It's a dream that's been in our minds, and I'm sure the late Bill Becks, who formed this Athletic Hall of Fame back in 1984, was our first induction. Allowing us to go to this address and becoming a public place for people being able to view the memorabilia, whereas all these past years, after the death of Mr. Beck, we've located out at the event center, and they've been gracious hosts. If any of you have had an opportunity to go visit, but there's limited access. And we have almost as much memorabilia spread out through the city and county and in storage that we would love to be able to display. This location will allow us to put all of our memorabilia in one place, have public access as long as Park and Rec during their regular working hours. So that's why we're here tonight, hoping that you will grant that request. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. If not, we have other members of our board that are here also.
Would anybody else from the board like to make a comment?
I will. I'm Dick Brooks.
Come ahead, Mr. Brooks, and give us your name.
I'm Dick Brooks, and I live at 1311 Buttermilk Lane. I have been initiated in the Hall of Fame. I feel like that is a tremendous honor for me. Right now, the Hall of Fame and the information that's there is not accessible. The event center's closed, I believe. It's something that we have been looking into and trying to make happen for Spalding County for a number of years. We want to be a part of the rec area. We've had a number of ideas, and this just seems to be a really, really good fit. It's right next door to the Recreation Department offices. It's something that can be monitored easily, and I think it would be an asset for Spalding County for us to relocate it to that facility. Thank you.
Good evening. Madam Chairman, I may come with selfish reasons for asking y'all to relocate it. It's because one of my daughters was inducted back in 1996, if I'm not mistaken. And at the time, she was in medical school in Pennsylvania. And every opportunity she's had to come home since then, she's never been able to gain access to the building, so she's never seen anything about her recognition publicly displayed. So if for no other reason as a parent, I would like for her to see her acknowledged.
Give us your name and full name and address.
I'm sorry. William Matchett, 1050 North 2nd Street. Thank you.
I was just waiting to see if some of the other ones would get up and talk. I'm Sonny Foster. I live on Kilgore Road. I'm a 1995 inductee into the Hall of Fame. I also have a son that's in the Hall of Fame, and I think I'm allowed to say it. I have a daughter that is going in the next class, going into the Hall of Fame. It's an honor for me. It's just, it's a disadvantage for us not to be able to show what we have and people have access to it. I've talked to Kenny Smith, told him what we were doing, what we would like to do. Kenny agreed to work with us on the electrical part of the building and help us out with that. Back in probably 2005, when most of this board of directors got started with Bill Beck, we had $35 in the bank. We sat down, we had $700 expense. Hey guys, how are we gonna pay this? So everybody kind of padded their pocket, and we come out of it. We started having the banquets, made a little money off of that. We had a golf tournament, we made a little money from that. We had a car show,
excuse me, that everything was, all the proceeds with Chick-fil-A and the car shows were donated to the Hall of Fame. Now we're financially able to do some things that we have never, ever had an opportunity to do, and that includes moving our facility. I talked to Tom Higdon today, who owns the event center now, and running the event center. He just closed one of his restaurants down in McDonald's last week. Tom is kind of on the fence with the event center, what's gonna happen to it. What scares me, if something happens to this event center, they lock these doors out there, we lost everything we've got. We can't go in and take it out if it's foreclosed on or anything happens to it, legality-wise, that we can't get our stuff out of there. But I hope you folks will realize what this is for the county, what it will do for the county, and not only for us, but everybody. And I think it would be, from what I've talked to the people down at the complex down there, they would be tickled to death to have somebody like this come in and be able to have something in, and eventually everything be occupied down there. So if you have any other questions, I'm sure Dan or somebody else can answer them, but we would love to have you consider it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
Are they gonna put somebody down there to keep it open all day? I mean,
No,
We're
sir.
gonna- I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We talked about that before when we were out here, but we never could find anybody to let us in. If we've got access to it, we even talked about having some of the kids with athletic programs come in and be there all day long where people would have access to it. We've talked about being down there on the weekends ourselves and being open. What the main thing would be, let the people know that there is somebody down there where they could come in.
well, that's
Yeah,
just
we
plain
plan
bad.
on staffing it.
Yeah. Or you are gonna stay.
Yeah, we plan on staffing it.
And my question is, so you don't really know how often it'll be open?
I hope every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And actually, what we talked about doing was cutting a door there at Park and Rec and letting folks come in through Park and Rec, pay $1 or something to see the place. And that way they have to, one way in, one way out. You know where the computer is now in the lobby? That is right adjacent to it, and you just cut a little door right there.
If they had somebody down there though, you'd have another door too where they would have.
Oh, yes, sir, there's 2 doors on the front.
Yeah.
But if it was manned, yes, sir, have those doors open. Madam Chairman.
Go ahead.
Part of their, Sonny touched on it just a second ago, but part of their, this is really a 2-phase request. The request is for the building from the county, and they're going to the city, should the county commissioners grant the building, they're going to the city to ask the city to work with them on utilities.
Is there any type of additional insurance required for this?
Since we would have a lease, they would be responsible for maintaining their own insurance, just like any lessee. And that's part of the lease.
And that building's already insured under our master policy that covers all of our buildings. But they would be responsible, we commonly refer to as renter's insurance, because that's their property, not ours. We don't have an insurable interest in it.
And
Commissioner Wright.
Madam Chair, move to approve the Griffin Spalding Athletic Hall of Fame to relocate their display to 841 Memorial Drive adjacent to the Parks and Recreation Administrative Offices.
A second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Ray and a second by Commissioner Johnson to approve the request to relocate to accept the lease agreement to relocate the Griffin Spalding Athletic Hall of Fame to
841
841
Memorial Drive.
Memorial Drive.
Madam Chair. Dan, how soon would we execute the lease?
we hadn't even talked about that, we've got an induction ceremony coming up in April, which would not affect that. So we're we've been in this pickle for quite a while, so whenever at the leisure of Park and Rec and our board, we would sit down and talk with them.
I think the building is fully cleaned out and ready to go, TJ?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay.
Am I correct that there was a lease attached to the paperwork?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, there's a list.
Yes, sir, there's a lease here. And not to speak out of turn, but I would think that they would want to get city approval before they actually sign the lease. Because it's kind of a two-phase.
How long are you looking at that taking, Dan?
Again, being a male, I'm not very good at decorating, and we want to do this right, and we want to find somebody that will come in and help us lay it out, whether it be somebody from Park and Rec, or maybe a private citizen that would like to volunteer some time and put this thing together. So we don't have a timetable, we need to sit down and talk about it if you approve it. That's what we're waiting on. We don't have a clue. Christmas, of course, is coming.
I'm not asking you to move in, I'm asking you when you can sign the lease.
I know.
Talk to the city.
Well, we could, sign the lease anytime. We're available, just whenever you tell us when you want us to sign it. But as far as relocating with the disposal of Park and Rec or whoever else that we need to get to help move us, and of course, getting into the event center to be able to get our memorabilia. And again, we have memorabilia down at the Welcome Center. We have where the school celebrated their 60 years a month or so ago with that parade. We have memorabilia there. We have memorabilia in Woody Heath, the old Crouch's building down there on the corner of the hotel. So we've got it scattered pretty much everywhere, and we just want to recollect it and put it together.
I think what Commissioner Ray was talking about, though, is you want to have the obligations of the lease before you have an understanding with the city about the utilities. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with the utilities if the city says no and you've got a lease. I think that's what he was really talking about. So, I think the commissioners are fine if they vote yay to let you sign it anytime.
Well, I'll refer that to Sonny since he's talked with Kenny.
Hold up, Sonny.
Yeah, I did go to Kenny and talk to Kenny, and Kenny called down there. He went back and researched all the records for the year, what the average bill was, what it leveled out to be. And he told me, he said when y'all get your facility, come back to me. We'll work with you just on a basic bill. So everything with him is fine as far as our conversation when I talked to him. And all he was waiting on is to make sure, he even called and got him to go down and check, make sure we had our own meter down there, which we did.
Go ahead.
Would you read this repair by tenant? Because I don't want to sign anything. Well, I read this thing, that y'all be responsible for the air conditioning, which is, it had to be repaired.
I haven't read that.
Repaired by tenant.
But getting back to the part with the city, everything as far as I'm concerned, with Kenny is taken care of.
Well, so except those repairs expressly required to be made by landlord, and that's not specifically stated.
Up
Above it
says
does.
repairs by landlord.
Yeah.
Parking lot and the air conditioning compressors and
Right.
underground utilities.
Number 9 says landlord agrees to keep in good repair roof foundations, exterior walls, parking lot, and air conditioning compressors and underground utilities and sewer pipes, blah, 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 except for repairs rendered necessary by the negligence of tenant, so forth and so on. So we will be obligated to keep the air conditioning compressors squared away but if there's something else wrong, it will be the tenant's responsibility.
One last thing. To the group, if we say by 31 January, sign the lease, you think you can accomplish that?
Yes, sir.
Because I don't like to leave open-ended things. I like to close it, have a date for it to close out, so.
Okay.
You think you can do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I got some questions. I wanna know how many square feet did Mr. Beck have in his original building when he had everything out?
He had a house on West Poplar and 3 outbuildings. And of course, he had a lot of duplicate memorabilia. In fact, in the house, he probably had 3 rooms of a residential house with nothing but Jeff Treadway memorabilia. And what we have out at the event center is we have a plaque that's about the size of that picture on your wall. It has a picture of the inductee and a biography of their accomplishments. And we have 300, 200, 300 and something inductees? 290 inductees. They're all displayed. I don't know how much square footage Mr. Beck had in his residence on West Poplar. But I do know that it was a residential house and 3 outbuildings that he used.
And do you think that was all of his memorabilia that he had in those 3 buildings? I guess what I'm thinking is, I mean, I see the lease and your request, and, my whole thing is, because I love it. I mean, I saw it when Mr. Beck had it over there, and I'm sure there's some other things that have been put up, and I saw it at the event center. But how can we justify making this kind of arrangement with you guys when this is kind of how we do this when we deal with governmental entities? I mean, have we done this with anybody else?
I cannot think of anybody off the top of my head, no. I can't think of anybody.
Well, we own the health department, and the health department's there.
I mean, I think that it's worthwhile and but, we open a Pandora's box.
Arguably, you could certainly justify it from the standpoint that it would be possibly promoting Griffin Spalding County, sort of a tourist attraction of sorts. So it's not like you've got a private enterprise that's going to be making money out of something and you're just letting them use your space. I think clearly there's a community purpose here. But as far as have we ever done this before, I don't think so.
Well,
Could be.
Well, and I'm saying that to say this, is that if we're gonna look at it as, I mean, I think it would be something that would promote, I see you already backing up this basketball. I think that it's something that would promote tourism. And I think we really need to call it that, what it is that we're doing, if that's what it is we're doing. Because, I mean, other than that, you guys are just, but you're another nonprofit organization who wants to use the county property. So, it's not a lot different than what it is the chamber needs a place in the welcome center. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that we're doing this for the right reason and that it's not a gratuity. You understand what I'm saying?
The correlation that we bring is that all of these people probably that are inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame has come through Park and Recreation in their athletic endeavors, basketball, football, track, baseball, you name it, golf. And that's why we're excited about coming closer to Park and Recreation. Because we feel like if it wasn't for Griffin Spalding County Park, Spalding County Recreation, the Athletic Hall of Fame wouldn't be here.
I'm just asking. Wanna make sure we're.
Then we could use that, we could use hotel motel tax, we hadn't spent any money down there.
Well, that's what I'm
for that.
saying, if it's to promote tourism.
I
Cause I
mean-
mean, like, what good is having it open if it's not gonna be open where people can see it, and how will people know that it's there?
Now answer that, will you?
Yes, sir, I'm.
If we were doing it for tourism, I don't know why you couldn't.
Well, yeah, and
Well,
we
they're not
weren't
asking for money,
requesting-
so let's not.
I know, I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about it, we done the budget, we had to put the air conditioning, because we take money from hotel motel to fix the air conditioning. We didn't have the money in our budget to do it.
You know, I just
You
wanna
promote
understand
tourism.
that our purpose in being involved in this, what, you know, what is our purpose as commissioners in supporting this and allowing this to happen? So, I mean, I think that your point that, you know, most of the people that are in the Hall of Fame came through Park and Rec. Well, you know, maybe after 1970, but before that, those folks that were at the Fairmont probably didn't come through Park and Rec, because you didn't have an official Park and Rec program. So, but I'm just saying that from our viewpoint, our goal, I think, is to promote tourism. And I think just from what I saw when Mr. Beck had it, and when I saw it at the event center, that it would be certainly something that people would be interested in coming to see, because we do have a lot of people who have gone on to professional careers and other things, and they, you know, they had some athletic prowess. So, you know, I just want to make it clear what where we stand as a board of commissioner before we agree to do this kind of lease and commit ourselves to this. That we're not just committing to this extent, that we are truly committing to promote tourism. Anybody got any questions about that or concerns about that?
I'd like to restate the motion.
Okay. You want to rescind your
I
motion?
want to rescind and restate.
You want to rescind your second?
I will.
Do I have to say anything?
No.
Okay, now.
Madam Chair, move to approve the Griffin Spalding Athletic Hall of Fame to relocate their display to 841 Memorial Drive adjacent to the Parks and Recs Administrative Services for purposes of tourism, with a lease to be signed no later than 31 January 2014.
Have a motion by Commissioner Ray and a second by Commissioner Johnson to approve the request from Griffin Spalding Athletic Hall of Fame to relocate their display to 841 Memorial Drive adjacent to the Park and Rec Administrative Building, and accept the contract to be signed no later than January 31st, 2014. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Thank you, guys. Item number 3, consider a request from Georgia Department of Transportation to evaluate alternate designs for replacement of the Jordan Hill Road Bridge over Cabin Creek, and respond to the letter requesting the county select and move forward with a final design for replacement of the bridge. William?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, we received the attached letter from GDOT on October the 18th. I have subsequently contacted both Russell McMurray, the chief engineer, and Kristen Stonewall Dixon, the project manager for this project. I talked with Crystal today, and she did say that they are awaiting the county's response. They had put the 30 days in there, but they understand with the holidays and things like that, and scheduling of meetings that you don't meet every day. So DOT is just awaiting a response from the county. You have received over the weekend and today 2 pieces of correspondence, one of those from Pulte Homes, from Ted Turner, who is the CEO of Pulte South, and one from Brian Davison, who is the managing partner for Minerva Properties. Pulte Homes and Mr. Turner have agreed, should the county commissioners wish to pursue it, they would like to see a culvert installed there. They are willing, Pulte is willing to do the design, engineering, and permitting requirements for installation of a culvert under the existing bridge, totally at their cost. And then turn those designed and approved plans over to GDOT for construction. That was an offer made by Ted Turner from Pulte Homes on Saturday, Friday or Saturday, I'm not sure which day. I believe they've been in discussions with Commissioner Gardner, I'm sorry, with Commissioner Gardner, so you may want to pick it up from there because I know he's been in discussion with both today.
Madam Chair, if I may, this has been a project that's been going on. This bridge has been rated as deficient by DOT for several years. School buses can't cross it. It's a big inconvenience for a lot of citizens in the northern part of the county. Will be if we have to go with a 12-month detour. And so because of the proposal that Pulte Homes has put forth, I would like to make a motion to allow us, myself and the county manager, and if you would like, to meet with GDOT to request consideration of this alternate proposal from Pulte Homes and table a final decision until we receive a response from the Georgia Department of Transportation.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
I second.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Gardner and a second by Commissioner Miller to, God, I hate to say it out of my mouth because I had a question, to table, table this item.
Well, it's just, we're tabling the decision until we can go meet with the Georgia Department of Transportation for them to look at the alternate design that Pulte Homes is willing to pay the money to do so that there will be no additional cost to the Georgia Department of Transportation. In other words, the Georgia Department of Transportation through federal funds already have money budgeted to do this project. The problem is the closure of the road for 12 months. It's just, it's about a 9.8 mile detour, the shortest detour to go that distance.
Would you mind rescinding your motion for just a moment, because I do have some questions, and not that, because I know we can't really discuss it once we table it.
Well, the most, I didn't, let me say postpone the decision until we receive a response from GDOT.
Why don't you move that we take no action until we have met with GDOT and gotten their read on the situation?
Madam Chair, I'll rescind my motion.
I'll rescind my second.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to allow us to meet with the Georgia Department of Transportation and request consideration of an alternate proposal from Pulte Homes and to, how did you say, Mr. Attorney?
Take no action.
Take no action until we receive a final response from the Georgia Department of Transportation.
I second that.
Have a motion by Commissioner Gardner and a second by Commissioner Miller to take no action tonight on the item related to the request for GDOT to evaluate alternate designs for replacement of the Jordan Hill Road over Cabin Creek in order to respond to Troublesome Creek, I'm sorry. Is that Cabin Creek on there?
Yes, ma'am, that's mine.
Is there any discussion? I have questions. Okay, so I saw the letter, and if Pulte is willing to do a culvert, how is that gonna change the amount of time that the road has to be down?
The road will not have to be closed if they can do a culvert.
Why?
Culvert will
I'm
be
not an
built
engineer,
under
man.
the existing bridge.
They just put it up under
They
it.
would, yes, sir, they would close one lane of the bridge and make it one lane traffic, but it could be built under or adjacent to without closing it completely.
While they build a new bridge.
Can I ask you something else too? What if GDOT does not approve the cover going under the bridge?
Well, then we go back to, from my perspective, then it'll come back to us again as commissioners, and then we have to vote up or down whether we want to replace the bridge.
And if
And
we
have
don't,
a 12-month
if we don't agree with it, then we'd have to pay for it.
Well, if we don't do anything, the money just goes away and we got a deficient bridge, it's our responsibility.
Yeah, but if they don't approve the culvert,
If we don't approve the culvert, then we say, well.
either the 9 months or we just leave the bridge as is. Because we don't have the money to replace the bridge.
If we don't get it, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Barker. Then you go, Commissioner, Miller.
What was that one?
I want you to talk, when y'all talk to somebody else, not to each other.
Was talking to you, Gwen.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
was ignoring me.
Okay, I'm sorry. Commissioner Wright.
Florida has a very good point, and that point is if GDOT does not accept the plan by Pulte, then it comes back to us, and at that point in time, the 5 of us will have to decide whether we're going to approve the plan approved by GDOT, which means closing the bridge for 12 months and going around it, or us paying for it. That's not a hard decision.
Oh, okay, wait a minute, I'm not understanding that, because I thought that if the plan, say that this whole Pulte plan, if we just decided today to go ahead with it, we still have our portion that we have to add to
Yes.
GDOT, right?
Yes.
We still have that portion, but there's more.
Well, the thing we got is utilities and right of way.
Actually, on that, because it's a federal project, the only thing the county's responsible for is utility relocation and right of way. Pulte and Minerva on all the right of way.
Okay.
So
that
they
was
would be willing to
give-
donate, I think. And then the water line was partially relocated when it was installed, and we knew that the bridge was gonna, so it's minimal that the water authority would have to do with the water line.
So what this is about is creating, if this culvert situation request is approved, it would allow one side of the bridge to stay open while the remaining one side is fixed, and when that is open, then the other could be fixed.
Kind of like what they've done on the North Expressway, they closed 2 and moved everything
So
over.
this is not about us having to pay for the whole bridge. This is
No,
about
no,
us
no,
trying to keep
no.
the road from being closed.
And actually,
so long.
if we can get approval to go with the culvert instead of the bridge, it would actually could be done for less money,
Okay.
Less federal.
less
money.
federal money. Well, it's less tax dollars.
Less,
regardless.
okay.
Okay, well, I think I got my questions answered. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of the Griffin Spalding County Hospital Authority grant to the Spalding County Board of Health in the amount of $14,000 for flu shots. William?
Yes, ma'am. Per the agreement with the hospital authority, whenever the hospital authority makes grants, they have to be approved by both the city and the county. City, I believe, approved this last week, and we're recommending approval.
Madam Chair, we move the approval of the Spalding County Hospital Authority grant to the Spalding County Board of Health in the amount of $14,000 for flu shots be approved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ray and a second by Commissioner Gardner to approve the request from the Griffin Spalding County Hospital Authority to grant to the Spalding County Board of Health in the amount of $14,000 for flu shots. Any discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Item number 5, consider ratification of the appointment of Community Development Director Chad Jacobs to fill the position vacated by Ricky Clark as recommended by the Homeland Security Director Kenny West. William?
Kenny recommended this. Our first meeting of the Administrative Council is this Thursday at 2 o'clock, and we need to have a full quorum there.
Madam Chair, motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Gardner and a second by Commissioner Ray to approve the ratification of the appointment of Community Development Director Chad Jacobs to fill the position vacated by Ricky Clark as recommended by Homeland Security Director Kenny West. Any discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Item 6, consider approval on first reading an ordinance amending the Spalding County Personnel Ordinance to redefine the work week and provide for biweekly payroll.
Madam Chairman, Bill Gay is here if you have any questions. The sheet documents the 3 changes there. This will allow us to implement bi-weekly pay effective first payroll in January. This changes our current personnel ordinance, which says that we have semi-monthly and our work periods are such and such to the new work periods for bi-weekly. Bill's here if you have any questions.
Yeah, we do. Commissioner Ray?
Bill, in the redefinement of the holidays that we did earlier, I think that we did last month or the month before, doesn't that relieve the burden for the first month for January and I believe July for our employees on that 3rd check?
Correct. The board approved the change of the holidays without pay to, what was it, William? April.
Good
Memorial Day and Good Friday.
It's, yes.
Okay, so that helps ease the burden.
Yes.
Okay.
I do have a question. How far are we, I mean, and even with this change, we're still gonna be documenting time slips by hand, correct?
Yes, ma'am. We'll still be using paper timesheets until we move to automated time and attendance system, and that will be something we're looking at for the FY15 budget.
Okay. Any other comments?
How much is that gonna cost when we do this?
What, the changes to the ordinance here?
The new times, the thing you got to have to, where you don't have to do it by paper.
Automated time and attendance, we've
Yeah.
only had 1 demonstration so far, but we are evaluating several systems. But we do not have a cost estimate yet from that last proposal. We
But
saw what
going
it
to
would do, and we
bi-weekly-
gotta tell him the criteria that we want it to
But going bi-weekly does not mandate us going
No.
to time and attendance.
do. No, it does not. It makes it
Easier.
makes it amenable, but it
Yes.
doesn't mean that we have to do it. No.
No, we're not going to have to go by.
One really has nothing to do with the other right now as far as this.
Madam Chair, motion to approve.
Second?
I have a motion by Commissioner Gardner and a second by Commissioner Ray to approve on first reading an ordinance amending the Spalding County Personnel Ordinance to redefine the work week and provide for bi-weekly payroll. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Report of the county manager.
Yes, ma'am. I received a call from one commissioner today, and I told him there were 73 items on the county manager's report, and he decided he would show up.
I
even
still
though
came to the meeting.
We're gonna narrow that down to just 3. The Christmas parade is this Saturday. Lineup is, for the big vehicles, is at Southern Crescent Technical College about 5:30. I know that we have one commissioner who is dying to ride on a fire truck, and she has said that she wants to ride on the ladder. So I think that Commissioner Miller said he was going to go with her and ride on the ladder.
No.
No,
But if any of you want to go, this is a candy-free parade.
Yay.
So if any of you want to go, please let me know so I can make arrangements. I would prefer that you ride on the fire truck because they're gonna be on there anyway, and I won't have to pay overtime for anybody to bring the golf carts and things of that nature. Deputy Chief Clark tells me though that the 2 rescue ATVs will be available should you want to use one of those. Is that correct?
That's right.
And they will have drivers for you.
That's right.
Oh, I thought you were gonna let us drive.
You can drive. You can drive.
Don't turn it over.
Christmas holidays, the county will be closed December 24th, 25th. Our next meeting is December 16th, please remember that we have a zoning public hearing at 5 o'clock before that regular meeting at 6 o'clock. That will also be the first day for my new executive secretary, so she's going to get inauguration by fire with a zoning public hearing and a regular county commission meeting that night. Tomorrow night, from 5:30 until 7, we have the public information meeting and open house for the North Hill Street intersection improvements. And I think that's all.
Okay, we'll have a report of commissioners. Commissioner Miller.
We need to check Moose Lodge Road between the bypass and Carver Road. There's 3 or 4 holes out there that's come up in that road within the last couple of weeks.
Okay? Between Carver and the bypass.
Right,
That it?
that's it.
Commissioner Gardner.
I had a call from a citizen regarding recycling center at Woodward. It was just before I came up here, I wouldn't email you, but I guess Thursday would have been the day that they would have been open, and Wednesday and Friday were the days that they would have been closed, and so they would close Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And apparently, they couldn't keep the containers rotated fast enough at the Woodward Center, and she was concerned that they were stacking trash beside, because they didn't have any containers to pump it into. Next year, we might want to consider, if we're still doing this, to maybe let Friday be a day to be open.
Okay?
After Thanksgiving.
And we are looking at adjusting the schedule for the Christmas holiday.
Okay, just having it closed so many days in a row caused a problem. That is our busiest collection center. So, anyway, other than that, I don't have anything else.
Commissioner Ray.
2 things. I'd like to say, express my appreciation to Ms. Joe Ellis and the Parks and Rec Department for the Senior Citizen Thanksgiving Social that they had at the Senior Citizen Center last week. It was, they had a large participation. Griffin High School culinary program prepared the food and served it, and I must say they did a professional and excellent job. There were no complaints on the food that day. I'd also like to extend our sympathies to Warden Sykes on the loss of his nephew over this Thanksgiving holiday. And I would like to provide my regrets to the Christmas parade in that I had a previous engagement prior to the announcement of the Christmas parade. So I will not be present. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, I've got a couple of things. I know that the meeting tomorrow night, the public hearing on which designs for the road improvements for Northside Drive, the intersection at Northside Drive and North Hill Street, as well as the intersection of McIntosh Road and North Hill Street is tomorrow. But I believe, William, you can correct me, is that the city is waiting on a decision from us. And I know that we don't have a meeting, and at the risk of calling for a call meeting, I would like to suggest that we at least, once that we get some sense of what it is that the public meeting is, that we get a consensus on where it is, what kind of intersection improvements we want, so that this won't have to wait to get started with the engineering or whatever before the first of the year. Is everybody?
I was planning on putting it on the December 16th agenda.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna be here December 16th. I'm gonna be out of town. But anyway, but I'm just saying, I think that, even waiting till December the 16th, it's almost the end of the year then. And we still just need to say what design I think that we need to do. So, I think, the meeting is from 5 to 7 tomorrow night.
5:30 to 7, I believe, yes.
5:30 to 7, so everybody gonna plan on being here, sort of. I know you work with me too. But anyway, so maybe we can get some, I'll kind of get with William and see where we are on that. Also, I would like to ask to get a consensus from everybody on whether or not the conversation that we had about sending correspondence to the city regarding partnering with them with the Welcome Center. I have had an opportunity to discuss that with at least 3 commissioners, and they didn't seem to have a problem with it. You know, basically, we do partner, they partner with us at the park at 6. It's kind of the same arrangement, so I think, you know, this, just as well, we can maybe just get a correspondence to them, telling them what our suggestion is and, you know, our reasoning behind it, and I don't think that, you know, at least we can know from that point, starting at the beginning of the year, where we're gonna be with that. I appreciate the letter from the Friends of the Library that we got tonight. I saw the pictures that they sent to, not the Friends of the Library, but the request from the library for a new library that came in. Some of the places are pretty bad. They're pretty bad, and I can say for myself that on any given day, I see 20 or 25 people walking down Memorial Drive to get to the library. So there's no doubt that there's a great need there. But the letter that you guys sent us tonight was basically saying not only that, but we need funding to make sure that we have literature in the library. So I think that's something that we certainly need to look at discussing.
It is a concern that, you know, with it says the state is stopping all funding of library materials with the FY 2015 budget.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we're really going to have to discuss. My problem with the library has always been that it's on the other side of the road. So, you know, who's gonna send their kid to cross over that street to get to the library? So, you know, if there is a new library to be built, hopefully it'll be somewhere that's centrally located, so it'll be a benefit to, you know, everybody to have easy access to it. Which leads me to, obviously I have a misunderstanding about the suggested date for the SPLOST. I was under the impression that the SPLOST was gonna be in the fall. And I had a conversation, I think, with William last week where it was gonna be in May.
That's what we have decided.
That's what we always thought we did talk about to start with in May.
Yeah, we talked about it starting in May, but we also talked about the fact that we're not gonna really have a lot of time to advertise. I mean, we've not even picked projects. So, you know, our history has been when we try to rush into a SPLOST, we don't have good results. So, I mean, I was just trying to figure out why we're trying to squeeze that into January to May, when we don't even really know what the projects are gonna be yet. I mean, I don't think anybody's still sending in projects, but I'm just, you know, I'm not understanding what the rush is.
And I have to admit, I was kind of in agreement with Glenn too at the time. I mean, it was just, I don't know. I had kind of thought it was in the fall too. I know we talked about it, and then it was kind of, thought we were gonna rush it along, so I didn't know either.
So, I mean, I just want somebody to explain to me why it is that we're trying to do it so
That's
fast.
gonna be the first election, isn't that gonna be the first time there'll be an election?
Yes, so that is,
I think that may have been the reason, we wasn't trying to rush it, that was the first election that was gonna come up. I don't think we were trying to rush it.
and the way the law reads, the approval has to be at least a calendar quarter ahead of the expiration of the tax. And the tax ceases in December of 2014. And November 2nd doesn't give you enough time.
I thought the elections were moved up a month.
Just
Just the primary. See, it was gonna be in July, then they moved it to June, then they had another court order to move it to May.
See, that, just because they moved the election doesn't mean that we should have to, I mean, that's 2 months out of the time that we have for planning. And I think that, I hear what you're saying, but in the past, haven't we asked permission from the state for our SPLOST not to expire?
The last time we did ask for special dispensation because our vote was in November and we did receive it. However, that was previous revenue commissioner. I don't know the track record of this revenue commissioner.
But, I mean, I'm simply saying, which means that if that were not the case, then the SPOS, we couldn't start collecting on the SPOS until March. I mean, until
It would cease and then pick back up.
in March. Well,
One April.
yeah.
April, I'm sorry. April.
Like I said, I mean, if three folks are in agreement that that's gonna work, I just don't think I don't think that's gonna work. I think it's gonna be counterproductive to us. We had an experience with the transportation SPOS where they tried to cram it down people's throats in 2 months, and nobody was educated about it, and nobody had a chance to discuss the issues, and that's basically what we're gonna do, because we're here at the 1st of December, and we don't even have a list of what we even want to propose. So I just urge everyone to reconsider, to at least think of reconsidering changing the date to the November election, because I'd much rather lose 3 months of collection than to lose the SPOS altogether for the next 6 years. That's just me. That's all I got. Do we have a closed session?
Can I ask something else?
Sure.
Griffin High's doing real well in the playoffs, and this week they play Wayne County here. The next week, if they win, they go to the Dome. I was just wondering, because we don't meet before the 16th, is there any way that we could maybe let them use Big Blue, if all the football players could ride on it, to go to the stadium or Dome? If the school wanted to use it, I'm not saying we offer it to them, if they wanted to use it to go to the Dome.
Haven't we done that before?
They used it to go someplace, I don't forget where it was.
I think we were asked to use it, but they had charter buses or something at the last minute.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know whether you can get them all football players on one bus or not. But, it'd just be a good gesture, let them use it if they was to request it. We just, if we
Yeah,
thought it
'cause
was
I-
all right, then you could just say, yeah,
There's
they've
not a
already.
meeting between now and then.
Huh?
You're right, there's not a meeting.
It's not a
for
meeting,
y'all
so
to
we
approve
could
it
go ahead,
between now and then.
and say, if they come ask for it, we'd let William go ahead and authorize them to use it. Just a
I
thought.
don't have a problem with that. What about you?
If it's available and it meets the requirements, I'm
You'll
good.
need to amend your agenda to add that as an agenda item and then vote on it, because it's not on your agenda anywhere.
Oh, we just made a nod. We didn't vote.
Didn't vote,
We just said, I don't have a problem. We didn't vote.
Okay.
Madam
You
Chair,
authorize William to make the call?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
move to amend the agenda to accommodate the potential request of Griffin High School football team to utilize Big Blue prior to our next meeting,
Is that with them paying the normal
with
charge?
them paying the normal charges.
Oh, Lord Jesus. I have a motion by Commissioner Ray and a second by Commissioner Gardner to amend the agenda to add another item number 7 to the new business, which is to potentially allow the Griffin High football team to use Big Blue should they have an opportunity to go to the Dome. Is there any discussion about amending the agenda? All those in favor, raise your hand. Okay, now you can discuss it all you want to.
Now you need a motion.
Madam Chair, move to approve the potential use of Big Blue by Griffin High School for the use of going to the Dome, with all costs being paid by the school or their booster club.
Second.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Ray and a second by Commissioner Miller to approve the use of Big Blue by the Griffin High School football team should they go to the Georgia Dome if they request it
Right.
at some time in the future within,
Prior to our next meeting,
prior to our next meeting,
with all costs paid for by.
with all costs paid for by the Griffin Spalding school system or the Griffin High School boosters, football boosters. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. 5-0.
Okay.
Okay.